Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I have been contemplating what to record for days now, and it has prevented me from showing up on this channel and creating content, which is something that I love to do. I might not have the most aesthetic videos or the most entertaining videos, but I still create content that I enjoy. And yet it has been hard for me to show up because I feel like things have to be perfect internally first before I can do that. And today I'm kind of tearing that wall down, at least a little bit, to let you all in on what my becoming journey has been looking like so far. So as some of you may know, if you have watched my videos, I started the 90 days to become her challenge on June 1st, and today is July 27, yes, at 1:46 a.m. And so I'm about 57 days into the challenge now, and since then I have started 3 other challenges: the 75 Ray, the 75 booked, and recently the 3 months to change your life challenge. And I really just want to talk about my fear related to showing up, because it seems like I keep beginning again, and yet I'm not getting where I want to be. But I guess I don't see it that way. I'm just scared of how I'll be perceived, which makes it very hard to show up. Because every time I come on here, I'm talking about a different challenge. And it just makes me look like I'm all over the place. But I think that really what's happening is I'm discovering my becoming along the way, and that my becoming is very multifaceted, and it's not just one thing, but it's a whole bunch of little things. And so having multiple challenges has really helped me cater to each part of my becoming journey. The 90 days to become her challenge was primarily about physical health and achieving my physical goals, and in a lot of ways I fell off from that just because of the stress that came along with it, and I think I wasn't ready for the identity change that is required for something like that. And so while I still weigh myself, I do not adhere to many of the rules and boundaries that were once in this creative journal. I don't track anything anymore because it was just so rigid and so hard for me to keep up with on a mental and emotional level. And so I didn't want to throw away the whole challenge, because while the goal was primarily physical, there was things in there that I really appreciated, like the fact that I had goals on here of making a certain amount of money, walking a certain amount of steps, getting to a certain subscriber count, reading at least a certain amount of books. Actually, now that I look at this, there is something that I have checked off of here, which is finishing one of my certifications. And so the goal of this was well intended, but the follow through was just not as positive as I had hoped. And I'm not scrapping it because I don't think that that's fair to myself. I think at the end of the 90 days, which will be next month, sometime next month, at the end of August, I'll still be further along than I was if I had just started over. But on top of that, I wanted to have challenges that really related and resonated with the different parts of me. So that is why I developed 75 booked, because I obviously have had the reading goal of reading 250 books since the beginning of this year, and I found that I was just really struggling to achieve that goal. And 75 booked, for those that don't know, is a challenge that requires you to read twice a day for 45 minutes a day. I guess there's other rules, but those are the ones that I try to adhere most to. And since starting that, I think I started July 1st, I've already finished 18 books. I'm reading every day, or like at least more days than not, twice a day. I read at least 30 minutes a day, every day, and sometimes I'm getting both of those 45-minute sessions in, so a total of 90 minutes or more. And there's multiple days already where I have been able to finish 1 and sometimes 2 books a day. So I'm doing really great with that challenge. But again, 75 booked is specifically for my reading goals and becoming more intellectually and just well-rounded, because while most of the books that I read are self-help books, I have finished some romance books and some thrillers and just different types of books. So it's just to expand my reading and to develop my identity as a reader, because when I was younger, I used to love reading, and as an adult, I have just gotten out of that. So that's that challenge. And then 75 Ray started off as being a challenge that was centered around Rider Ray, but about sometime last week, I realized what it looked like for me to actually keep up with this goal, and I fell out of love with the art of writing to the point where I'm wanting to be a publisher. I think I enjoy the act of writing for me, but I don't want it for public consumption for a lot of reasons. And so I just stepped away from writing for a while. It may be something that I go back to, but I don't ever want to publish my books. Not even, at least not right now. Not my romance books. I have published a self-help book last year, and that might be something I go back to. But at this time right now, well, there's a book I wrote last month that I might edit and publish. But as of right now, the books that I'm writing, I don't want to publish those. I may finish them and just keep them just for me, for the art of writing. But yeah, so 75 Ray started with that intention, and now I have shifted 75 Ray to include the act of reading, primarily, so it goes in conjunction with 75 booked, but also listening to podcasts and more of my morning routine of my dream self. Consistently listening to podcasts and prayers and journaling and affirmations and subliminals, all of those things that really help me mentally become the woman of my dreams. So like I said, 90 Days to Become Her was about the physical. 75 booked is more so about intellectual, I will say. 75 Ray is about mental. And then the 3 months to change your life, which is a new challenge, is more about a mixture of things, I guess. And to clarify, 90 Days to Become Her was also not just about physical. It was a physical glow up, but it also had a lot to do with, recording and posting, obviously, and becoming a content creator. And the way that I have chosen to do that has also changed, and I am not forcing myself to output content just for the sake of putting out content and it not being something I'm genuinely proud of. And I think it feels so much more aligned this way. But yeah, so the 3 months to change your life challenge is a mixture of everything. It has career, it has motherhood, it has, the personal, it has, sorry, I'm flipping to it because It has my hobbies. It has physical stuff on there. The best part about this challenge is I feel like it's where the balance is going to happen, and where I'm going to really focus on becoming sacred in harmony, which means creating a more aligned life and living a more fulfilled life. This is going to be where I make every area of life show up in a aligned way. And I'm not going to say a balanced way, because every day is different. Again, it's Monday at 1 a.m. Okay, as I was saying, every challenge requires a different part of my becoming journey, and I think that they're all valid and they all matter, and I just want to allow myself to show up in every way that I see fit without limiting myself by any little thing. And so I wanted to show up on here and let you all know that while it seems like I keep starting over, and maybe I do, I don't see it as like ending, because everything is just an expansion and an extension of me. The 90 days to become her made room for 75 booked, and that made room for 75 Ray, and that made room for is this 3 months to change your life challenge. And things are going to keep progressing and growing and allowing space for the woman that I'm actually becoming. Like, I think that's what these challenges are proving to me. I used to be someone at the beginning of this year that was terrified of showing my face on camera, and only ever thought that YouTube would be possible by doing it faceless. I went from posting all of about 1 or 2 videos on YouTube last year to now I've posted 26. This will be my 27th video in the span of 2 months, and that is just so amazing to me. Yes, I might not have the follower count yet. Yes, I might not have the views yet, but the point is, either way, I'm showing up and I'm proving that I'm becoming someone different. And I think that that is the biggest thing that I wanted to address to myself and for everyone out there, is that, like, you know who you're becoming. It doesn't matter what it looks like to anyone else. This is not their journey. This is not their life. This is about me and how I feel and how I want to show up. And at the end of the day, my YouTube was a documentary for me and my life, and I feel like the right people will find it, but I can't stop showing up just because I'm not getting any views or whatever the case may be, because I'll never know. Like, you never know until you try. And even if it doesn't work out, you have to keep trying. Some people take 10 years. Like, look how many people it took 10 years to really get where they wanted in life. For some people it takes 20 years. For others it takes 30 years. Like, I feel like there's no right set path for everyone, but as long as you don't give up your work, you will eventually get there. And having read Atomic Habits this month, I think that that's really what it's about, is that everything compounds upon each other. The more videos you put out, the more chance you have of success, you know, with follower count and views and all the things. And the more days into challenges I have, and in my case, the more challenges I do, the more confidence I build, the more chance I have to show up as and become and embody the woman that I say that I want to be. And at the end of the day, no one else might see those changes, but I know the changes that I'm making mentally and emotionally and physically to become that woman, and spiritually. And so, like, that's all I can do, is just, like, keep showing up and hope one day, like, my outer matches my inner, and like my community finds me. I think that I have been so scared to show up on becoming her beyond measure in a certain way. So that's why I created another channel which allowed a different outlet of me. But that wasn't fair to me, because then I was stifling myself and a part of myself, waiting for perfection, waiting until my mental health was back in a good space before I showed up. And I don't think that that's true to me. And that is one of the rules that I set for myself when it came to the 90 days to become her challenge, was being intentional about not just showing the good and pretending like my life is all roses when I'm actually struggling with things, and when things aren't going as planned, or when I'm feeling burnt out or feeling unmotivated or whatever the overwhelmed or whatever the case is. And sometimes it's hard to talk about, and so there literally is no way to show up. But on days like today, where it's not perfect, but I still have the words to say, just showing up either way, because becoming was never meant to look beautiful and glamorous, at least not when it's real. And so why would I only show you all the beautiful and glamorous parts? Why would I only pretend to myself that there was only beautiful and glamorous parts? And so from now on, I do want to develop some level of consistency when it comes to showing up and creating content and everything. There's other things that I do want to pour into when it comes to different content outlets and figuring out what works for me and what doesn't. But I'm definitely going to keep the Becoming Her Beyond Measure channel, because I have goals and dreams for what this could become. And I'm supporting and co-creating a vision with God, and I believe that is going to happen as long as I stay consistent. And so that was really what I wanted to talk about in today's video. Thank you all for watching. Again, I will be back, preferably trying to do 2 to 3 videos a week. We will see what actually happens. I've also been uploading a lot, like every 2 to 3 days on my other channels. But yeah, I'm not disregarding this channel. I just needed a break, and now I'm back. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one.